Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the top 5 SUVs in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now cars are getting onto this list, first of all based off of their looks, how cool they are, the customization you can do to them, and their performance. So in no particular order, those are just the things we're looking for with these cars. Let's get right into it, starting off with number 5. Alright guys, at number 5 we have the Benefactor XLS. This thing costs $253,000 and it is based off of a Mercedes GLS in real life. It's a great car. I would highly recommend picking one up if you've got some extra money lying around. It's a really cool SUV and it's an SUV that you don't see very often in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now I must admit the performance of it is not the greatest, hence why it is at number 5, but it does have some pretty cool customization that you can do to it, albeit there's not a lot that you can do, but you can make the car look pretty clean in my opinion. Mine has got chrome rims on it, and I believe it is in bleached brown, if I'm not mistaken. Overall, it's just a really good looking car. I think it's a pretty classy SUV. Definitely not going to win any races with this thing, but it is a very nice SUV for just cruising around, especially with your friends. I would highly recommend picking one of these up. Alright guys, at number 4 we have the Enos Huntley S. I would definitely say this is probably the most underrated vehicle on this list. I definitely think I see more people driving the XLS than the Huntley, but the Huntley is a great car in Grand Theft Auto Online. It's actually one of the better performing SUVs, especially for the time period of which it came out, which I believe was in 2015. This car actually has quite a decent amount of customization you can do to it. It has front bumper options, grille options, hood options, I believe roof options if I'm not mistaken, side skirts, obviously the usual stuff like rims and wheels and all that. It also has exhaust options, I believe, and rear bumper options. Now this thing only costs $195,000, making it one of the cheapest cars on this list. And for that price, you do get a really good performing SUV. This thing is properly fast. I'm not joking when I say that. This thing is quick. It handles decently well. It is a very heavy feeling SUV. So if you're into cars that are, a little more planted to the ground, shall we say, the Huntley is definitely a car to look into for you for sure. It's definitely not the fastest car. You probably won't win any races with it in Grand Theft Auto Online, but the performance is definitely there for in free mode, and it will be a very quick car when you want it to be, that's for sure. Anyway guys, let's move right into number 3. Alright guys, at number 3 we have one of my personal favorite SUVs in Grand Theft Auto Online, the Dubsta 2. Now if you weren't familiar, there is a Dubsta 1 and there is a Dubsta 2 in Grand Theft Auto Online. There's a few differences between them. The Dubsta 2 has black trim and black badges on it, as well as a lot of the customization that comes on it you cannot actually remove, like the bull bar, and I believe the snorkel is not a removable option, neither are the side steps, nor is the rear bumper in black there. The cool things about the Dubsta 2 is that it gets an offset spare wheel on it, which is very cool. Some of them come with a roof rack, some of them don't. It kind of depends on which one you luck out and get. Another very cool feature about the Dubsta 2 is, to my knowledge, it is the only car in Grand Theft Auto Online that has a tintable front windshield. So when you do the tint on this car, the front windshield actually gets tinted. As you can see, it's not impossible to see through it, but it's pretty darn hard to actually see through the windshield on it. So that is a very cool feature. I like that a lot. Now the Dubsta 2 is not going to win you any races either, similar to the last two cars. I believe it's actually probably slower than both of the last two cars. But it is a very cool car because it is a very rare car. The only way that you can get this in Grand Theft Auto Online anymore is by calling Miss Baker and requesting it. I'm going to make a video on that very soon actually, so check that out. If you're watching this a couple days after this has come out, I'm going to do a video on that. Definitely a very cool car. If you guys can manage to get one, I would highly recommend getting one. It is a very rare car and it is very underrated. Anyway guys, with that being said, let's move into some more performance-oriented SUVs. Let's get right into number 2. Alright guys, at number 2 we have probably my favorite looking SUV in Grand Theft Auto Online, the Rebla GTS. What the hell? I'll be right back. Alright, so as I was saying guys, this is probably my favorite looking SUV in Grand Theft Auto Online, and it is also one of the best performing SUVs in Grand Theft Auto Online. This thing has really good handling and extremely good acceleration. Not only that, but it also has an absolute ton of customization. You can change the grille on this thing, the front bumper, you can change the fenders, you can change the mirrors, you can change the side skirts, the wheels, the suspension. Obviously when you drop it down actually cambers out the wheels, which is very, very cool. You can change the hood, you can change the roof, you can change the wind deflectors on the roof, you can change the rear bumper, you can change the exhaust. Basically, if you can think about it, you can pretty much change it with this car. And when you've done it all, it ends up looking like this. And I personally love how my Rebla GTS looks. It looks just like an X5M, which is what I was going for. The only problem with this car is that it is way more expensive than all of the other cars on this list, coming in at $1,175,000, which is more than double of what the car in first place costs, which is a lot, but for that price, you do get a very, very cool car, and you do get a very good performing SUV. So it is something to consider. Obviously, if you don't have a lot of money, the Rebla GTS might not be the car for you, but I would still highly recommend it no matter what, because I think it is a fantastic car. Anyway guys, let's move right into number 1. Alright guys, and at number 1 we have the Pegassi Toros. This thing costs $500,000, which is, sort of middle ground for this list. It is a decent amount of money, but for that price you do get a very, very good performing SUV, and a very good looking SUV, at least in my opinion. The Taurus is obviously based off of a Lamborghini Urus. From the front, you can kind of get the resemblance. I think they definitely could have done a bit of a better job, but in my opinion, you can still definitely tell it's based off of a Urus in real life. From the back, I think it's a little bit easier to tell that it's based off of a Urus. Still could be a little easier, but I'm not going to knock them for it. I still think it looks absolutely fantastic. Now this SUV actually has the highest top speed out of any SUV in Grand Theft Auto Online, coming in at 127 miles per hour, which is quite quick. Definitely driving this thing, you will understand that it is the fastest SUV in the game, because when you get going on the highway, say you're driving this thing to Paleto Bay or something like that, you will definitely feel the top speed on this car. It is pretty good. Definitely not something to complain about with this thing. This car also has a absolute ton of customization. You can do the front splitters on it, the front bumpers, you can do the roof, side skirts, rear bumpers, mirrors, pretty much you name it, you can do it. It's very similar to the Rebla GTS in that respect. It has an absolute ton of customization that you can do to it. And I've seen some absolutely crazy ones. Obviously mine is done in yellow, which is pretty bright. I've seen some really subtle ones, and I've seen some really aggressive ones that are way more aggressive than mine. But it is a absolutely fantastic car to customize, and I would definitely not complain about all the customization that it has. I think Rockstar killed it with this thing. As far as the handling and everything like that goes, it is a very good car on that front as well. Definitely one of the more agile SUVs in the game. Definitely handles pretty good. I would say the Rebla probably handles just a little bit better, but the Rebla is also a little bit slower. So basically take your pick. The Rebla or the Taurus are definitely, the two best SUVs in the game, I would say. You could kind of rotate each one of them out depending on which one you like more, basically. And if you were to take them on a track, obviously on a faster circuit, I think the Taurus would probably win, but on a more twisty circuit, I think the Rebla would probably win. Anyway guys, I think that's pretty much it for the video. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a dislike if you didn't. Comment what SUVs I should do for part 2 in this series if I do a part 2. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Peace.